Okay, let's dive into a single day that feels like it's straight out of a thriller. March 7, 2026. We're going to piece together how, in just 24 hours, the entire world found itself standing right on the edge. So the day kicks off with this, and wow, what a statement. This isn't just diplomatic tough talk from President Trump. This is a direct, unambiguous threat of massive military action against Iran. A single sentence like this just sends shockwaves across the entire planet, and it really sets the tone for everything that follows. So, where do we even start? Well, naturally, we have to go straight to the epicenter of this whole crisis. The Middle East is basically a powder keg, and on this particular day, it feels like multiple fuses have been lit and are burning way, way too fast. What you're seeing here is a complete and total communication breakdown. I mean, look at this. On one side, you have the US talking about complete destruction, but on the other, Iran's president is sending this really complicated signal. He's apologizing to some neighbors for what he calls miscommunication, but in the same breath, it says there is no way they're going to surrender. It's like holding out an olive branch with one hand and a clenched fist with the other. And while the leaders are trading threats and apologies, on the ground, things are escalating fast. This isn't just talk. We've got the Israeli military pushing into Lebanon. Hezbollah is firing back with drones and rockets. And then an Iranian warship just pops up in India, creating a whole new diplomatic headache. For regular people caught in the middle, the danger is right now, with U.S. embassies screaming at people to shelter in place. And this is where it becomes painfully real. U.S. Central Command confirms that 6 American soldiers have been killed. Now, that number 6 might sound small, but politically, it changes everything. Suddenly, the abstract threat of war has a very real, very human cost for the United States. And if you want a picture of just how chaotic and messy a conflict like this can get, well, here it is. In a terrible friendly fire incident, Kuwaiti air defenses actually shot down 3 American jets. Now, thankfully, all the crew members made it out alive, but it's just a terrifying reminder of the fog of war and how quickly things can spiral out of control. Okay, so this crisis isn't just contained to the battlefield. Not even close. It's already sending these huge tremors through the global economy. And believe me, those effects are already starting to reach all of us. You can see the whole chain reaction laid out right here. It all starts with those Iranian threats in the Strait of Hormuz. That's a critical choke point for oil. That threat disrupts shipping. So what happens? Kuwait gets nervous and cuts its oil production. And the end result? Yep, global energy prices start to climb. And here is exactly where that global problem becomes a local one. Those rising energy prices, they aren't just numbers on a stock ticker. In a place like India, they translate directly to this: people protesting in the streets because the price of a simple cooking gas cylinder has shot through the roof. A conflict happening thousands of miles away is now literally affecting how people cook their dinner. And you want to know how scared other countries are about the economy? Look at this number. South Korea just activated a stabilization fund worth 100 trillion won. To put that in perspective, that's about 68 billion US dollars. That is a massive financial shield they're putting up, which shows you just how worried major economies are about the fallout. All right, let's pull the camera back a bit, because while the whole world is glued to the Middle East, other global powers are not just sitting around. They're making huge strategic moves, basically repositioning their pieces on the global chessboard. So get this. While all that chaos is erupting, President Trump is in Miami. But he's not focused on the Middle East crisis. He's there to launch a brand new alliance with 12 Latin American leaders. The goal? A new counter-cartel coalition. And you can see how serious they are by who they put in charge, Kristi Noem, as the new special envoy. And it's at this summit that they announced something with huge implications, the Donroe Doctrine. Make no mistake, this is a massive warning shot, and it's aimed squarely at countering China's growing influence in Latin America. The U.S. is basically drawing a new line in the sand, right in its own hemisphere. And at the very same time, literally on the other side of the planet, another big strategic move is happening. The U.S. Navy and 5 of its allies are starting a major military exercise in the Arctic. This is no coincidence. It's a clear signal of global reach and power, showing they can project force anywhere, even while a crisis is brewing somewhere else. So beyond all the conflict, the economic panic, and the geopolitical games, other things are happening. Because even on a planet that feels this divided, you can still find these moments of protest. And something else, a rare shared moment in the sky. Far away from the war rooms, a totally different kind of action is taking place. It's the Brave Women Weekend right before International Women's Day. And you've got these huge demonstrations for women's rights happening in cities from DC all the way to Milan. It's a powerful reminder of all the other things that people are fighting for. And then there's this, a total lunar eclipse. For just a few hours, all the noise and chaos down here on Earth is just dwarfed by this silent, incredible celestial event. And just look where it's visible. Across the Americas, Asia, Oceania, people in countries that are on the brink of war, in nations allied and opposed, all of them looking up at the exact same moon. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on, doesn't it? On a day that's just defined by threats and division and conflict, what does it really mean when, for just a little while, everyone, friend and foe, looks up and sees the very same sky? It's something to think about. Thanks for sticking with me for this one.